All right, we're going to continue with our media availabilities here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We are joined by our 4 NASCAR Xfinity Series Dash for Cash drivers who will be racing for $100,000 in Saturday's Fitzgerald Glider Kits 300. We have Christopher Bell, driver of the number 20 GameStop Seagate Toyota, Cole Custer, driver of the number 00 Haas Automation Ford, Daniel Hemric, driver of the number 21 South Point Hotel and Casino Chevrolet, and Ryan Preece, who will be behind the wheel of the number 18 Rheem Toyota. Gentlemen, the Dash for Cash always adds an exciting element to these races here. How does it feel to know that you're going to be racing for the benefit of the local community this weekend with the charitable element that is brought forth by Comcast?
I think first off, anytime young racers like ourselves have the opportunity to not only affect what race fans see at a racetrack, but to know that we have an impact on the communities and know that we're going to have the ability to help a low-income housing family acquire internet, acquire all the things that we all need to go through our day-to-day lives. Everything we do is through some kind of internet service. So to have Comcast and Xfinity service, to know that they're allowing us to be a part of something like this is really special.
Anybody else have anything about that or racing for the 100,000?
I think Daniel pretty much summed it all up right there for sure.
All right. We'll open up to questions for our 4 drivers. We'll start here with Matt.
That's weird. I like it.
Matt Weaver with Auto Week. This is a question for all 4 of you. Typically, when we talk about prize money for the Cup Series, I think a lot of fans are kind of dismissive of it because it's like all millionaires racing for millions. But your situations are all very much unique and different. So when it comes to running for a large prize money, how does it change the dynamic and how important is that money to each of you?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm used to running for anywhere from $2,000 races to $10,000 races. So to come here and have a chance to win $100,000 is a big deal to me. And all of us do say, it doesn't matter if it's at a go-kart track for a piece of plastic or for $100,000. We're going to race each other hard, pretty hard. So I would say that's true, but at the same time, $100,000, I know what it would do for me, and I'm going to race very hard to get that. What would it do for me? It would do a lot of things for me. Like I said last week, it would help me build my race car, so that's a big deal.
Yeah, I feel like Preece hit on it pretty well there. We had the opportunity to sit down after last week's race at Texas and all echo exactly what Ryan said, and that's, every time we go to the racetrack, like you mentioned that all of our situations are a little different and they're all unique in their own way, but none of us have that guarantee that we're going to have the option to race next week. Yeah, you sign contracts and it all says that, but you never know if this is your last race or not. So we just do everything we can to live in the moment, and having $100,000 on the line on top of that just makes it that much more sweet. And hopefully when it's all said and done, we can put on a good show for the fans, and it's a heck of a group of guys to race with to try to get that goal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously $100,000 is a lot more than any of us usually race for. So I think it makes the race a little bit harder, maybe a little bit more aggressive at the end of the race. But it's a really cool thing that the Xfinity Series does for all the guys. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we'll have a good shot at it this weekend.
It's just special, man. To be able to race for that amount of money is something that you don't get to do every single week, and it's something that I've been looking forward to ever since I announced that I was going Xfinity racing. So thank you, Comcast and Xfinity, for putting up the money and allowing us race car drivers to, have a big prize to race for at the end.
Coming here to Jeff, far right.
Yeah, Jeff Birchfield, John C. Press. We've heard for years fans complain about Cup drivers racing in the Xfinity Series. Whoever wants to address this weekend, there are no Cup regulars in the Xfinity Series race. So, talk a little bit about that.
For me personally, just my own personal view, I think it's, first off, we all enjoy racing those guys. They make us better. Obviously, Christopher and Ryan being teammates with Kyle and Suarez and Air Jones, those guys that get to come down and run, and myself with Austin and Ty, and that makes us better. But on the flip side of that, it's cool to see a guy like John Hunter Nemechek get in a car, Shane Lee get in a car this week, 4 or 5 other guys in the field that wouldn't have the opportunity if the package and the rules weren't laid out the way they are this year. So anything that provides opportunity for a younger guy to have a shot to come up here and have the opportunity to make a name for himself, that's what the series is all about. So I know each and one of us are looking forward to having the next 4 weeks to hopefully shine a little bit, maybe even a little bit more than what we do on a typical basis, and take what the weekend gives to us. But it's definitely just a different dynamic that I'm pumped that we're going to see how the next 4 weeks turn out.
And obviously, just to say what he said, so I'm on that receiving type end, like Shane Lee and the other guys that are getting those opportunities to run this weekend. If, as much as I do enjoy racing Kevin Harvick's, Kyle Busch's, and such, would there have been this opportunity that I've gotten this year if they could race all these races? So that, just like Daniel said, it creates opportunity for people like myself and gives us a chance to really show what we can do.
Anything further for our Dash for Cash panel? Go to Lee and then Kelly.
Clearly, you guys distinguish yourself on the racetrack, but you hear the pundits all the time discussing about bringing you guys in and not having the Cup interlopers. How do you distinguish yourself off the racetrack so fans really want to get behind you?
I think it's just doing whatever feels right to you. I know everybody's got this whole, I'm going to use a couple examples here, but Keselowski goes out and does a campground deal. I see a couple different drivers doing their post-race videos and posting it to their fans. And we all enjoy doing that stuff when we're kind of asked to or whatnot, and we don't really turn that stuff down. But as far as just being true to yourself and don't push anything you're not comfortable doing, I guess. At the end of the day, I feel like what I am and who I am as a person is what got me in the situation I am, and the fan base that I have from the short track ranks and coming up just like Preece and these other guys next to me. And I just try to do what keeps myself grounded and feels right to me.
Yeah, same thing, absolutely. So, like, for example, Daniel, I've known Daniel's background. He was a hardcore racer. He's worked on all this stuff. He didn't, I don't know if you posted it on social media like I try to, just so people can see that, because that's kind of how I've tried to grow my fan base, is show them, hey, I'm just like all you guys. You wouldn't have saw it if I didn't post it out there. And I think that's kind of gotten the racer that races on a Friday, Saturday night. I have them all behind me too. And I said it last year about Iowa. There was people at Stafford Motor Speedway, or any racetrack, Bowman Gray, everywhere. They sent me photos and everything that they were skipping practice to watch that race. So I feel like that's kind of what I've tried to do, and just like Daniel said, be true to yourself, be who you are, and then people just kind of latch on to it.
Are you proof that a weekend racer can make it into NASCAR?
I think Daniel's proof. I think all of us are proof. I think we all just have different ways of getting here, and a lot of people that are in this series deserve to be here. And even in the Cup Series, you look at all those guys. Everybody has a different way to get here. I've just had a little bit of a different way, and that's what I enjoy about it. Yep.
We'll go to Kelly, Claire, and then Chris.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. For any or all of you, one of the things that constantly stands out when it comes to the Xfinity Series is whether it's talking about the Dash for Cash or just any interview in general, you guys all give Xfinity and Comcast a lot of thank yous and credit, and just talk about how you enjoy working with them. And it seems to be a little bit normal than maybe what we see in the Cup Series when it comes to guys talking about Monster. Why is that? How has it been working with Comcast and Xfinity, and have they gone, I guess, above and beyond to make this series fun for you guys?
Yeah, I think first off, you start from the top, in the top of the Comcast world down, Xfinity, and everybody that pushes this series since day one. They've been as involved and continue to grow their involvement in the series. And when you see a title sponsor like Xfinity come in and do the things that they do for not only us, we're racing for $100,000 this week, and we get to do it 3 more times after this. Not only that, but the stuff they do for the charities, all the involvement is so far above any series I've personally ever been in. So to know that you have their support, that makes you want to go out and you want to talk about them. You want to talk about the products they offer and all the good things they're doing in the communities. And that's just an incredible opportunity for us. And I know it's, all the guys, throughout the field don't get a chance to do the interviews, but I promise you, even the guys running 35th back, they're thankful to be here. And we're here because of Xfinity, because of their involvement and their love for our sport. So I know I'm personally lucky to be a part of the Xfinity series. I'm sure all these guys would say the same.
We'll go to Claire, and then Chris, and then Caleb. Far left.
Claire Beelang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. I played a clip last night of the 4 of you in studio after the race last week, talking about how you'd race for a stick of gum and showing your personalities, and it was really entertaining. But after that, I took a poll and asked fans if they thought, it's a great promotion, but if they thought you guys would really race harder for $100,000. And almost everybody voted yes. They thought maybe subconsciously you would. However, they said maybe, a guy called and said maybe the strategy would be different. Do you think the strategy of your racing will be different because of this? And subconsciously maybe, even though you race hard, you're scrapping for your lives, as you said.
I think that's, so for example, it's no different than like, I think, Bell, you said, and you were in the top four into the Homestead. It's the same thing. So going through the ranks and racing, anytime I've ever been successful winning championships, it's because I went out there to win the race. You go out and win that race, that's going to take care of it. So that's my agenda.
Yeah, I think Preece answered that as best as possible. $100,000 is great, right? That's what we're up there to do, especially this weekend. It's an added bonus. But we still go to the racetrack every single week to try to max stage points and try to get the best finish we can for the owners and our teams as far as points go. So with that being said, I know they don't want, like, for instance, I know his team don't want him to go make a crazy move that costs them owner points and driver's points because he wanted to get $100,000 and put himself in a bad spot. So you got to finish these races. I know all of us throughout our career have been told we've got to run all laps before we can worry about finishing first. So we're going to continue to keep that mindset. I know that at least that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'd say most of us, I think all four of us, just going to be worried about the end of the race, just because that's when they're paying the $100,000. We're not paying it on the stages or anything. So I think it's definitely going to set yourself up pit strategy wise. Whatever happens, you're going to worry about setting yourself up for the end of the race, I would say, though.
So for me, I know I talked about it last week, but it's, you're racing 3 other competitors for the bonus. So I guess the only differing strategy would be if the yellow flag comes out and you pay more attention to what these other 3 are doing compared to the rest of the field.
We'll go to Chris and then wrap up with Caleb.
Yeah, Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Don't forget the Xfinity to go at. That's pretty badass too. But Ryan, next weekend you're not scheduled to run at Richmond, but you have a car capable of contending for the $100,000. So if you do get the $100,000, you would be eligible for the Dash for Cash at Richmond. How do you convince JGR to put another car together?
That was my question too.
Well, I guess we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. But we're gonna approach this weekend like it's my last, and we're gonna try and win the race. And I guess I'll ask that question when it comes. But at the same team, I want the 18 to go there and have a really solid race. So I don't want to take anything away from my other teammates also. So a 4th car could do that, and I'm just worried about Bristol.
We're going to wrap up with Caleb.
Caleb Whistler, Kicking Tires. Daniel, how do you stay focused on the Dash for Cash program while also preparing for your Cup debut next weekend at Richmond?
I think it's doing a lot like Preece was talking about, and that's just living in the moment. I've had a couple of my family members ask me, like, man, are you ready for next week, or are you excited? I'm like, yeah, that's fine and good, but I got 2 more days on my agenda to get through Bristol, and my focus is 100% on that. And obviously it's a great opportunity to know that I get to go to Richmond next week and live out a lot of our lifelong dreams, and that's make my first start in a Cup Series. But at Bristol, this place takes every bit of concentration and focus you possibly can give it, and then throw $100,000 on top of that and all the other stuff we race for on a weekly basis. So just trying to stay as involved and fully locked in on what's coming up this weekend.
All right, gentlemen, thanks for joining us today. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.